Hi, good morning. Can you hear me? All right, very well. Obviously, I am not Steve Castanetti, Captain United States Navy. Steve is under the weather right now. He sends all his love and appreciation for all of you to be here. He took a little Dixie and broke some ribs, so he's having a hard time speaking right now. So I'm it. I'm the fill-in. I'm Command Chief Master Sergeant Robert O'Toole. I'm the executive officer for the Saugus Veterans Council, and it thrills me beyond no belief to see all the areas covered here. Because that's our dream every year, is to get more people to come here. And I always remind people that today is the day that you say thank you to a veteran. Sometimes there's confusion between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, but today is in fact the day that you say thank you to a veteran. And that's all it takes. That's all they want. Okay, they're not looking for huge accolades and parades, but it's nice now and then to have somebody say thank you. All right, so with that, if those that can't stand, we're going to have the presentation of the colors by the Lynn English High School Junior ROTC.
Left turn, march. Other guard, hold.
If you would please remain standing, and I'm going to have Thomas Bracewell come up and we'll have the national anthem. And along with his singing, if you know it, you might back him up a little bit. Thomas?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets burst were, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hoorah! All right, great job, Tom. Great job. Mike, if you actually want to remain standing, we're going to do the invocation. If I could have Lieutenant Colonel Bob LaRoe, he's the chaplain for the Saugus Veterans Council, the United States Army.
Thank you.
Uncover.
Let's pray. Author of liberty, on this Veterans Day, we gather to remember what it has cost to keep our land free. In so doing, we honor our nation's greatest asset, our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, active and reserve, who have supported freedom's effort to secure and preserve peace in our troubled world. Lord, continue to watch over our armed forces. It was our privilege to serve in the military. Help us to continue to be good citizens and instruments of your peace. God, help us to convey what we learned while in uniform to the next generations who will serve. God, our commander, we place our firm trust in you with the understanding that we are under your authority. Increase our commitment to you and our country, O Lord. Cause us to remain devoted to our families, our churches, and our nation. In your sovereign, glorious name we pray. Amen.
Cover. Thank you very much. I'd like to do a little bit, recognize some people. You can be seated, please, if there are seats. All right. And if you want to sit on someone's lap, no one's going to judge. All right, so feel free. Oh, Joe says no. All right. I'd like to recognize a couple of people that are in attendance, and I'll preempt it by saying if I miss somebody, please raise your hand and we'll try to recognize you. But the main thing is, I recognize everybody that's here. That's the most important part, because you're the real nuts and bolts of today's event, is the people who come, because veterans cannot do what we do or did without the support of our families, loved ones, and those at home. It would never work, particularly when you were deployed. It's always nice to know you had that support back home. Having said that, State Representative Donald Long. I know Donald's here. Yep. State Representative Jessica Giannino. And now jump to the Board of Selectmen. Chair Deborah Panetta, I know is here. Yep, thank you. Corrine Riley. Jeff Ciccolini. Anthony Cogliano. Mike Serino. And Town Manager Scott Crabtree. Now, if I miss any of our local people, I still live here, so please don't get mad at me. All right. While we're mentioning town people, I want to thank not only town people for what you do, but we wouldn't have the park cleaned up. It would be about 2 feet of leaves here if it wasn't for the DPW and having them come down and clean it up. And what they do to keep our memorial and park clean, I can't thank you enough. It's fabulous. So did I miss anybody? My wife's got her hand up. My wife is over there. All right, very important person. All right. Moving right along, we have the governor's proclamation. Yep. And we're going to have Jessica Giannino, if you could kindly read that for us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And first and foremost, on behalf of the state delegation, to all those who served today, thank you for your service. A proclamation on behalf of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Whereas, since the Commonwealth's earliest days, thousands of men and women have served our country in defense of freedom and liberty. Whereas, on November 11, 1918, after 4 years of conflict, the armistice was signed in the forest of Campania by the Allied nations in Germany, ending World War I, the war to end all wars. And whereas, since that day, every November, people from around the nation have gathered to honor our veterans. And whereas in November of 2024, the world will commemorate the 106th anniversary of Armistice Day that ended the fighting in World War I at 11 a.m. on November 11, 1918, at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. And whereas there are approximately 300,000 veterans living in Massachusetts. And whereas in recognition of the sacrifices made by those who have served our great nation, Massachusetts remains committed to supporting its veterans community through the HERO Act, honoring, empowering, and recognizing our service members and veterans. And whereas today, we are reminded of the great sacrifices and contributions our veterans have made to our country. And whereas we honor and salute those who served our country throughout the generations with honor, patriotism, and courage. Whereas it's appropriate that all Massachusetts residents remember the bravery of those who served our country, so that their dedication and sacrifices serve as a reminder of the cost of our freedom. Now therefore I, Governor Maura T. Healey, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim November 11th, 2024 to be Veterans Day, and urge all the residents of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. This is given at the Executive Chamber in Boston, this 11th day of November in the year 2024, and the independence of the United States of America, the 248th, signed by Governor Maura Healey, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, and Secretary Bill Galvin, offered by the Saugus State Delegation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, appreciate that. Little off script again, as I look out at the audience, which first thing I notice is our Cub Scouts. And it gives me a really warm feeling having been a veteran because they're our future. They need to know the sacrifices that those who are sitting here and standing here gave and all other veterans. So to see young people, a couple more young people here, I see them in the crowd, that gives me a warm feeling because that's what we want to see. So a little hand for our young folks for being here today. And another thing off script, hopefully Chief, there's not a problem, but I see the fire department in the back there in their bunker gear. So I hope we're not dealing with a fire, but I just want to throw out a quick thank you to our fire department and police department because we all know what they have been dealing with these brush fires. So having been a former first responder, you don't get a lot of thank yous. So I'm publicly saying thank you for what you all do. All right, this is the opportunity now for me to bring our guest speaker up. And a little history with our guest speaker is you just never know who a veteran will be. And if you lose your paperwork, you can't do anything. One moment. The administrator. Oh. Way back in March of this year, I fractured my wrist. Not as nimble as you used to be. And come back, called my primary. I said, I need an orthopedic doctor because I fell down and can't get up. So he says, yeah, I'm going to send you over to see Dr. Peterson. All right, never having gone to see Dr. Peterson before. I said, great, I'll go, Salem office. So I go over, and as I always do, I see there's a box with his cards in it. So I said, I better get his right name and address and number so when I call him. So the first thing I notice, he has the United States flag on his business card. So right away I said, I'm in. Okay, I'm in with that. And then I notice underneath the doctor part, he says, Captain Douglas Peterson, the United States Naval Reserve Medical Corps. I goes, oh, I'm even better. Okay, so quickly, and I'm not going to bore you because he's a fairly humble person. Most veterans don't like everybody to go on with accolades. But captain in the Navy, native of Beverly, Massachusetts, did his pre-med at the University of Massachusetts in Lowell, 1991. His doctorate of orthopedic medicine from the University of New England, 1995. Then he received a scholarship from the United States Army. So like me, he was in a couple of different services. He went to medical school, completed traditional internship at Tripler Army Medical Center in Honolulu, Hawaii, 1996, and served as a brigade surgeon for the 25th Infantry Light Division at Schofield Barracks, Hawaii from 96-99. He completed his orthopedic surgery residency at the University of Ohio, Grandview Hospital Medical Center in 03 under the United States Navy program, so he kind of flopped over. He attended the Naval Aeromedical Institute and received his flight surgeon wings in 2004 while attending the orthopedic surgeon course at the Naval Hospital, Pensacola, Florida. 04, he transferred to the Naval Hospital in Japan. He served for 2 years as a staff orthopedic surgeon. He served aboard the U.S. naval ship Mercy for the humanitarian mission for the tsunami in Indonesia. He's been deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan, strike that, twice. He deployed as an orthopedic surgeon on a forward surgical team providing Role 2 combat surgical care in Helmand Province, Afghan, 2009. What that means is he was up front, okay? He was up front. He earned the Fleet Marine Force Warfare device while deployed with the Marines. That's a device that the Marine Corps gives to naval personnel that work with them, assist them in their battles and up front. He left active duty in 2010. He's in private practice in North Shore of Boston. Does a great job, by the way. Look at the left wrist, working. He did very good with that. As a reservist, and then I'm almost done. There you go. He deployed for a second time to Afghanistan as a reservist and individual augmentee, which that means to most of us who have been there is that he probably volunteered to go. All right, as an individual augmentee with the Special Forces operating out of as Baghdad, Afghanistan, not a nice place. And the officer in charge of, again, Combat 2 surgical team. His awards and decorations: 2 meritorious service medals, the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, the Humanitarian Medal, Afghan Service Medal for 2 tours, Overseas Medal, Reserve Mobilization Medal. And with that, Captain.
Thank you and good morning. That was quite the introduction. I didn't know he was going to go through all this. Command Chief, Master Sergeant, thank you for the invite.
My pleasure.
As he said, he was my patient. He came in and he said, will you help me just give a speech to the local veterans on Veterans Day? And I said, well, how many are going to be there? He said, probably between 20 and 30. Well, he lied to me. And I'm glad he did, because it's great to see the support. It's always wonderful to spend the day with veterans and heroes. It makes my day. I've been looking forward to this day coming out. I usually go to the Veterans Service in Beverly, my hometown, and it's great to come down here to Saugus and see the Lynn JROTC, well done, and to be here to be the keynote speaker. I kept some remarks on here because I could just tell stories all day about my time in Afghanistan, but I wanted to keep it short so you guys can enjoy this beautiful day. We really lucked out on the weather. And thank God we got a little bit of rain to keep the fires down and to keep the smoke down. My journey began back in medical school, and it began with me being selfish. And I say that because I did not want to take out the $300,000 student loan to go to medical school. And so I said, I'll apply for the health profession scholarship and they'll pay my way through med school. And I give back a year for year and I'll serve my time and I'll get out. That being said, and 30 years later, I still serve because I still feel that I have a debt to give back to the military. Because that's how much they have given to me. They have shaped me as a person and as a surgeon. I did not realize the adventure that awaited me and how much it would shape me. The quality of people with whom I serve and continue to serve is what keeps me coming back and what's keeping me wearing this uniform with honor. And I think every veteran here can attest to that, the quality of the people, the man and woman standing next to you made it worth it. 2004, while I was stationed in Japan, we got word that a tsunami hit Indonesia. And word came out that there was a dramatic need for orthopedic surgery on Indonesia because they were devastated. They sent the USNS Mercy hospital ship, and they were in dire need of orthopedics. I was in Japan, so I flew to Singapore, jumped on a helicopter, and they stuck me on the deck of this large white ship in the middle of the Indian Ocean and said, good luck. The ward was already filled with orthopedic casualties, many, many fractures from the tsunami and aftershocks. And we were there for 60 days, working 12-hour days in surgery. We could have easily been there another 60 more days, but the State Department said, no, you will be there 60 days and you will finish your tour. Fast forward to 2009. I was stationed in Newport, Rhode Island, and I got an email one day, and the title was, prepare to deploy. So I tried to delete the email, was unable to. And it was then I realized we're heading to Afghanistan. I deployed with 2-8 Marines out of Camp Lejeune down to Helmand Province, which is in the southern part of Afghanistan, right in the desert where it was daily 130 degrees. And I was part of the forward surgical team there as part of what we call the Echelon 2 medical care. So medical care, when we are taking care of battlefield casualties, is broken down into echelons. Echelon 1 is the combat medic and the corpsmen that get embedded with these security forces that go outside the wire. These are the true heroes. These are the first point of contact that our wounded Marines encountered. They were the ones that put the tourniquet on. They were the ones starting IV. They were the ones calling in the 9-line medevac to us at the Roll 2. The Roll 2, Echelon 2 care, where I was 15 minutes away by helicopter. Kind of like the MASH unit. We were living in tents, very limited capability, but we were there to do what I call damage control orthopedics. We were there just to save lives. We stopped bleeding, controlled the airway, stabilized the patient, get him back on the helicopter, and get him to the Roll 3 or Echelon 3 care. That was still in country in Bagram. They had neurosurgery, they had vascular surgery, they had CT scan capability. So the capabilities were a little bit better. The Roll 4 or Echelon 4 care was in Landstuhl, Germany, about a 4-hour trip away, where they could receive more definitive treatment there. And then the Roll 5 is back here in the States, where they get rehabilitation. So that's how we break down the echelon of care throughout the battlefield, from the point of injury all the way home. Now, I was lucky to be at the Roll 2, so we were seeing these patients fresh off the battlefield. And again, my role was to stabilize and evacuate. The U.S. Air Force would pre-position the PJs, the parajumpers, then they would pre-position, go bring the casualties to us under heavy fire. They were true heroes as well. On the way back, the Air Force would provide in-flight care to our casualties to minimize our casualty rate. We specify the casualties as category A through D, depending on their casualties, with the category A being the most severe, imminent life threatened. We received approximately 256 category A casualties throughout my 9 months in Afghanistan in the Helmand Province. All Marines operating in that area, because the Helmand River fed the opium harvest down there that we were trying to break up from the Taliban. So, fast forward 2013, I am now a reservist, and I get the email, prepare to deploy. I learned again that you cannot delete this email. So I was, as Command Chief says, an individual augmentee. What that means is they asked me to head up, because I had prior service and prior experience operating in the combat environment. We want you to head up this operational team as the officer in charge. So I had a 17-person team that we worked with the Navy SEALs and Green Berets operating out of Asadabad, Afghanistan, which was right on the Pakistan border. We were taking casualties, but they were all Afghan casualties, because our role had changed in that we were supporting the Afghan Defense Force, sending them in, and we were securing them and stabilizing them, and again, we were at a Roll 2. It is here where I learned about the ripple effect that the medical corps can provide to the security of the forces operating in that area. They constantly would come by and say, the medical care that you're providing, the locals here, are allowing them to trust the forces that are here and allowing them to give us information that they probably would not have given. That, in turn, saved lives. That meant a lot to me. 2021, I received another email, prepare to deploy. This time, we stayed local we were deploying for the COVID treatment team to New York City that had got ravaged with the COVID virus. I said, I do orthopedics. What am I going to do for the COVID? And they said, we just need medical team. We need medical personnel. So I was part of the team, not on the hospital ship, but I was part of the teams that went out to the local hospitals. So my hospital was in Brooklyn, and we were there for 6 weeks providing care for the COVID relief. So as you see, I've had quite the adventure ongoing, and it continues. And that's why I love putting this uniform on and love coming out to these events. In the end, I would like to address 3 groups of people. The first group of people is the young children that we see here today. I speak to them a lot in elementary schools, and they always come up to me and they say, thank you for your service. And I say, thank you for the support. We love to hear that. And they say, how can we support you better? How can we support the veterans better? And I say, that's easy. Be a good citizen. And they look at me and they say, what do you mean by that? And I said, not only follow the rules and conserve our resources, but the most important thing is find that passion in your life. Find what I found with orthopedics. Find what you want to do. Utilize the freedom that we provided, that veterans before you have provided, you allow to chase this. So that way you can become a positive contributing force to your society, to your community, to your nation. That's it. Just find that passion and go for it. Second group, the wives, spouses, significant others, and families of all service members are in a huge debt of gratitude. My wife took care of my 3 children while I was gone for 9 months in the desert, and every day, everything's fine. Everything's fine. So I could focus on the mission and come home safe. The final group is the veterans that I stand with today. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you have done. Thank you for allowing me to become an orthopedic surgeon and live my dream. Your mission has not stopped since you stopped wearing the uniform. You being here has shown me that the mission continues. Continue to be a positive impact in your community. Continue to be leaders in your field. Continue to influence and mentor our future leaders. For that I say thank you for your continued service, and happy Veterans Day.
Thank you very much, that was great. And he just whispered, I think I get 1 follow-up orthopedic visit free. I think, I don't know, I thought that's what he said, but I'm not sure. Like a Medicare, that's right. Well, thank you very much, Captain. You touched on a lot of the points that I think most of the people sitting here would agree with you on. All right, now, Subi? Where they were? If we would, please. Subi is going to have, we're going to play a military medley of all of the various service songs, including we even have the Space Force, which we do. If you're in the Army, or have been in the Army, Navy. Space Force. United States Air Force. United States Coast Guard. United States Marine Corps. Hoorah!
Hey, Dad. Mother. Harry, alert! Hey, cut!
Outstanding, Sylvie, and I have to get a band. I noticed you were leading the band there. Very good. You got in. He gave the beat in 85, so that was very good. All right, I'd like to bring up Corrine Riley to talk a little bit about the bricks. Tough to see right now, but you're stepping on them. If you look down, you'll see all the names and stuff of all the bricks. She'll explain the program to her. And because of her and others that she'll mention, We have this, the bricks along with the names of our servicemen up on the panels up here at the veterans.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Firstly, thank you to all our veterans who have served and are serving. The BRIC program is to honor our veterans, and the monies go to maintain the wall and the park. So with that said, we will do next year. If you want to buy one for next Veterans Day, we start advertising in, say, March or April. So these are the bricks that were placed this year for 2024. In memory, Albert Faraji Sr., U.S. Army. Mark J. Bertrand. John D. O'Brien. James M. Perry. John Moscone, 1st Air Cavalry Army. Vietnam, 66-67. Thomas Hogan, U.S. Air Force, World War II. Edward Hogan, U.S. Army, Korea. George P. Gagliardi, U.S. Navy, World War II. U.S. Army retired, Staff Sergeant Curly Paul, 1976-2012. Chief Petty Officer Matt Vedekevich, U.S. Navy, February 2015 to the present. Alfred Mazzoni, World War II, 1942 to 1946, 1,114th Infantry, Military Police, India, Burma. Maurice E. Silva, Private U.S. Army, WW2, Purple Heart, POW, husband, father, grandfather. Russ E. Fullerton, E3 USNR HU-4, 1962 to 1964, husband, father, grandfather. Lindquist Willard, U.S. Navy Seabees, World War II, 1926 to 2018. I'd just like to thank Jeannie Bartolo, Gail Casarino, Stefano's Landscaping, Randy Brand for volunteering their time and services to get this done today. So again, thank you very much.
And as Corinne mentioned, we start early in the year. When it breaks up a little, you can look at the bricks. Doesn't necessarily have to be a serviceman. I know we have about 9 or 10 from my family, kind of right over here after the seats. Well worth the program. If I remember, for a small brick, it is $100, well spent, a couple of cups of coffee. And for the larger brick? 8 by 8 is 200, so it's plenty of room is out there, and we can fill it right in. So a great program if you wish to participate in. All right. So what I would like to do at this point is we've been going now 40 minutes. My wife said cut it short, never give me a microphone. So I'm not going to go into a lot of remarks, but I do again want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank the Veterans Council and the members of the Veterans Council that are here that help us on a yearly basis. We meet the first Monday of every month. There's no fee, there's no secret oath, there's no nothing. You just show up on the first Monday at the post 210, and we kind of oversee most of the ceremonies, working with the VFW and the DAV and all the other veterans organizations. We're like an umbrella group for everybody. So thank you for that. The town manager again for allowing us to keep this park the way it is. Matter of fact, next spring we're going to be moving up a bench for Corporal Procopio, who we moved up here somewhere on the property, a very prominent spot. The town employees, we couldn't do it without them. If you have a chance, take a look at the post 210. I walked in one day and I thought I was going in the wrong building. It's completely done over. Painted, it's absolutely beautiful. I can't thank you enough for that. It's something that needed to be done. We didn't have the money, but the town jumped in and they did it. So I can't thank you enough from us. in our Lynn English High School Junior ROTC, great group of young men and women. They always help us out. I picked them up today, took them for coffee. Actually, Donald Long bought the coffee. He walked in at the wrong time, so he paid for the coffee. But I had a chance to talk to them about what they do, how they do it, what their future may bring. And just inspiring, again, that there are young people. Having been a cop for 37 years, sometimes you get a little negative, and I know the people in back of me might realize that also. And it's nice to see young people that are participating understand sacrifice and what it's all about, and have a kind of an idea of where they're going, but also realizing that that plan may change. What they used to say, the best laid plans goes out the window when the first round is fired. So, again, thank you very much for them and all our young people again. And with that, in closing, I would like to have Lieutenant Colonel LaRoe come back up for a benediction, if you would. Uncover.
The benediction is taken from the Hebrew Bible. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and give you peace, and give you peace, and give you peace forever. The Lord be gracious to you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace, and give you peace, and give you peace forever.
Now, what I would like to do, if you can, I'd like to have all the veterans present come up behind us, please. Those that can take photos, but I just want them to see our veterans. These are your veterans from Saugus and beyond. So all veterans, if you can, please come up and behind the podium.
March.
Don't be shy. Actually, I haven't met too many veterans that are shy, so I guess we'll have to rule that one out.
Stand beside his chief. My buddy.
Now, the other band will be the full house any day, right here.
You
right?
got that. All right.
All right, we all set? Do we have any more veterans? All right. These are your veterans. These are the people that deserve the thank yous. And photo opportunity, anybody, let me know when you're done. Here's my good buddy Dapper, former Army Airborne. Hoorah. Are we good with the photos? Oh, closer, they said. They said you gotta squash in a little bit, a little closer.
How can you with this?
I think
guy?
they're afraid their wallets will disappear, I'm not sure.
One back step. March.
Put it on pan, I'll take a video, and that way you'll get it. I see some cameras up, going once, twice, 2.5. Do I have 50? Okay. All right, I think we're all set. That's it? You got it? And I also want to thank the advertising. Hey, we got our reporter right here. Did a great piece this week. He always comes to our events, always covers it. So a little hand for the Saugus advertising. Get one this week. They covered the program. Thank you very much. Advocate, sorry. I've only been here 55 years. All right, now, what's going to happen now is we can release you gentlemen and ladies. Thank you very much. Coming down Central Street, we have a parade of motor vehicles. I believe some have flags. They're going to be led by the police. They'll be coming right down Central any moment now. Is that correct, Doreen? Here they come.